Well, April Prayer is a criminal defense attorney. She's been following this trial. She joins us tonight. So, April, thank you so much for being with us. We
Thank you
appreciate
for having me.
All right, so deliberations, of course, began this afternoon. So based on what you've seen, based on what you've heard, what do you think is going to happen here?
I'm actually not sure because there are so many things in play. So one, it's a matter of whether the jury actually thinks this was a legal citizen's arrest or not. Two, it depends on whether the jury understand what it means to be a party to a crime. In other states, it's called accountability or group accountability. Three, it depends on whether they believe this was actually felony murder or not, which is also a very misunderstood doctrine. So there are a lot of things on the table. So it's possible even that they could find Travis McMichael guilty because he was the one who was actually the trigger man and cut the other two loose, Mr. Brian and the elder McMichael, because a lot of times people don't understand, well, you played this small role in this group crime. You didn't have a discussion about it. You didn't plot for months. You didn't sit down and draw up maps and diagrams and such. So how can you be held responsible for another person's actions? So I even heard Brian's attorney argue he didn't even know that the McMichaels had guns on site until the gun was pulled out. So how can you be responsible? But that's not what the law says. The law says if you play any role in planning, in participating, in helping in any way, that you're responsible for the higher crime, the higher charge. So there's a lot for this jury to unpack. And, you know, we've seen historically that it's very rare for white defendants to ever be held accountable, to be found guilty for the killing of any black victim. The defense has, on all three defense teams, have gone to great lengths to blame the victim. In fact, to make Mr. Arbery into some type of criminal who deserved his fate, not only deserved his fate, but caused his fate. So there's a lot for the jury to unpack, and I'm just not sure. I don't know the culture of that jury. I don't know how they gel and what conclusions they'll reach.
So you mentioned, you know, how the defense lawyers had tried to paint Ahmaud Arbery there. In her rebuttal, the prosecution said that Arbery was trying to get away, that these men who all were strangers to him were threatening to and then did kill him. And she says he died, quote, for absolutely no good reason at all. From a legal point of view, how compelling was her argument?
I thought she did a very good job in terms of her closing argument, where she laid everything out, which closing is always difficult because you have to cover all of the evidence for a 2-week-long trial, and you're trying not to miss anything, and you're trying to be organized, and then you have to come back with the rebuttal. That's the one advantage the prosecution has. They get to go twice. The defense only gets to go once. And then she laid it out. The rebuttal ran long, but I thought one thing she did very effectively was the use of audio clips, where you could hear certain things in the voice of Travis McMichael. You could hear it in the voice of Greg McMichael to say, well, no, they in fact knew that Mr. Arbery was not burglarizing anywhere, because they, in fact, in his own words, Travis McMichael called it a criminal trespass or loitering. Well, it's not a burglary. He didn't take anything. You hear the clip. So then he can't come back later and say, oh, I believe this was this dangerous burglar, and that's who I was trying to apprehend. So it will be very interesting how this trial plays out.
You know, and obviously, you know, the defense's main argument is they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. I want to make sure that, you know, we mentioned that as well. But something that really I think is important to touch on, you know, before we let you go. We know Kyle Rittenhouse, obviously, just on Friday, found not guilty on all counts. People are comparing these two cases, obviously not the same thing, but they're both certainly garnering this national attention. Is this a fair comparison, and do you think that this will somehow influence what happens in this trial?
Parts of it are fair. So the actual moment of truth between Travis McMichael and Ahmaud Arbery, when they are face to face outside of the truck and there's a gun involved. What's similar is that Ahmaud Arbery was unarmed, had nothing in his hands, much like Rosenbaum did in the Rittenhouse case when he and Rittenhouse were face to face. That's about as far as the similarities go, because there's no question here that the McMichaels and Brian were the aggressors, that they were the one who initiated contact, that they were the ones who chased down Mr. Arbery, you know, by either account. And then the defense is painting it as though, okay, yes, they followed him, they just wanted to talk to him. Well, why won't you talk to us? No one has to be compelled to speak to anybody. Even law enforcement, you don't have to speak to.
Right.
And these three gentlemen were not in uniform, didn't have any type of badge, didn't have any type of insignia on their truck. So there's no reason that he had to have any conversation with them. So, but the comparisons end about there, because this, in my mind, is not a true self-defense claim. What the defense is saying that is then Mr. Arbery attacked them. He came at them with his fists, and that Mr. Travis McMichael feared for his life at that point. I think that falls flat. I think the bigger issue will be, was this a justified citizen's arrest? Was that based on whether Mr. Arbery had actually committed a felony by entering this unfinished building that was being built on the various occasions, but it's going to come down to what he did on that particular night and what they knew, because in order to make a legal citizen's arrest, you have to have personal knowledge. They didn't have any personal knowledge. And that came down to Travis McMichael saying, well, I thought maybe he was running from the police. I thought maybe he had entered this building again. I thought maybe he had committed a crime, but he did not have any personal knowledge. And I think the prosecutor did an excellent job on her cross-examination, bringing that out, and then reminding the jury of that in both her closing and her rebuttal.
All right, April Prayer, criminal defense attorney, we appreciate your time here. Day one of deliberations will obviously be so many more questions as this proceeds. We appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.